One of the things that messes up my students the most with Latin pronunciation involves the letter I. So this word, is this one syllable, yam, or two, iam? I is a vowel, but sometimes in Latin it's a consonant, and differentiating between these two is super important. So in Latin, the vowels are a, e, y, o, u, and sometimes I. Well, that's kind of a fun way to remember, to be careful of the I. These three are always vowels. This one, the Y, is found in Latin only in words borrowed from other languages, especially Greek. The Y transliterates the Greek letter upsilon, the capital form of which looks like a Y. U is trickier because every so often you'll run into a text that uses a lowercase u for both the vowel U and the consonant V. The capital letter for both of these would then be a capital V. And that's because the Romans themselves used this letter in the same way that they used the I, both vowelic and consonantal. It's only less of an issue for us moderns because most Latin texts that we read turn the consonantal U into a V. Very rarely will you see Caesar's famous quote, "Veni, vidi, vici," look like this. So back to the I. Ancient Roman grammarians were all in agreement about the nature of this letter. The I is a vowel when it's isolated by itself in a syllable. So when the I is surrounded by two consonants, it's a vowel. Iris, isis, illis. It's also a vowel when it's surrounded by just one consonant and a vowel. So the I's in Italia are both vowels. Capio, the I is a vowel. And that's about what we'd expect. But the I is a consonant when it's at the beginning of a word, followed by a vowel, and it's pronounced like the Y in yet, or like the I in onion. She threw jäket, or now yam, or they join jungunt. It's also a consonant in the middle of a word when it's in between two vowels, like dejectus, thrown down, or eius, his, her, its. No, this wouldn't be Latin without exception, so here they are. Beware of the following. First, compound words where the base word begins with a consonantal I. So, like the word for spouse, conjunx, the prefix con is compounded to the root junx, from jungo, to join. The I in the junx part is consonantal because of the history of this word. Also, the word adjectus, thrown near, is a compound of ad plus jectus. The I is a consonant. I said before that words like maius, peius, cuius, aiunt technically have a consonantal I in between two vowels, and you can hear the y sound in maius. But there's also a hint of an I vowel, peius, cuius, aiunt. Also, this transitional vowelic I sound makes the vowel before the I long. It's like a quasi-diphthong. And there are words borrowed from other languages, like Greek, that don't follow these rules. If you read the Aeneid, you'll see the names Iulus and Iarbus, where the I is supposed to be a consonant, but it's actually is a vowel. I mean, we get Julius from Iulus, but the structures behind Latin poetry make us know that the I at the beginning of these words is a vowel and in its own syllable. Iason is the name Jason in English, but the I at the beginning is a vowel. The same thing for the Latin praenomen Gaius, where the I should be a consonant but is pronounced in its own syllable as a vowel. Finally, compounds of Iacchio have just one I written, but the standard pronunciation involves two I's. One's a consonant followed by a vowel. So this is pronounced cognicio, just like in peius, the syllable before this kinda double I sound is long. An easy way for me to see the consonantal I is to think ahead to English derivatives. The consonantal I often comes into English words derived from Latin ones as a J. So like in rejectus, we get reject from this. The consonantal I becomes the J. Conjugal is related to conjungo or conjunx. The I is a consonant. Conjecture comes from cognicio. Peior gives us pejorative, a great word, and maior gives us major. There's nothing in English derived from yam, but we do get a great old school rhyme. Caesar adsum jam forte. Wait, let's pronounce this badly. Caesar adds some jam for tea. There's more, but you can figure that out yourself.